Hi, welcome. Simon here, and I hope you're doing well. In this video, I'll walk you through step by step on how to do a screen replacement on an iPad mini 4. The model for this is A1538. If you're not too sure where to look for the model, if you take a look at the back of your iPad mini, at the very fine print here, it says A1538. That is the model for iPad mini 4th generation. Now, this is my new screen, and I'll be transferring the home button. So you need to make sure you save the home button here, because this home button has the touch ID for your thumbprint or your index finger, whatever finger you use for the touch ID. We need to transfer the home button over to the new screen. Now, if you have a cracked screen, you can follow along with the video, and hopefully this video would help you and guide you through the replacement for this process. Now, for my case, it is not the screen replacement. It's more so that the LCD screen flickers. Once in a while, you can see my screen goes like fuzzy and it shakes. Like flicker, shaking, fuzzy. Those are the terms that I use when you see the LCD screen shakes or fuzzy. And that is because the LCD screen in the back here needs to be replaced. So the iPad mini 4, the glass digitizer, and the LCD, they are adhesive together in one piece like this. So therefore, if you have a cracked screen, you would have to replace the whole thing. If you have a fuzzy, shaking, like fuzzy screen, shaking screen or whatever, then you would have to replace the whole thing, just what I just told you. All right. First thing first, let me go ahead and turn off the iPad mini and put the new screen on the side. And let's go ahead and heat up the iPad. So the iPad is adhesive glue onto stick together. So in order to remove it, you need to get the heat gun or maybe hair dryer. If you have a hair dryer from your mom, you can borrow one from them or your sister, or from your pets. If you use the hair dryer to blow your pets, just borrow that and try to heat up the screen. So I'll be using a heat gun here. You don't have to try to heat up the entire iPad. You just want to heat up the area where you're going to plan to work on first, and always come back and work on the rest, because as you're starting working on the corner on the top here, the side of the iPad might get um hold on a second. Yeah, so you just want to work from one corner to the other corner. And again, before I do that, I want to make sure safety first. So make sure you have a safety goggle. Protect your eyes at all time, because if you have a broken glass, and those broken glass may or may not fly into your face, into your eyes, always have safety goggle first. Okay. And the next thing you need to have is to make sure you smash the like button. I'm just joking. Well, I'm not joking, I'm for real, but you still have to smash the like button. All right, let's come back and reheat the screen here. All right, so you just kind of flip it open to your left, and you want to get yourself a Phillips screwdriver. I'll be removing the 2 screws here. Once you have removed the 2 screws, let's go ahead and get a plastic prying tool. Do I need to remove more than 2 screws? Maybe. Yeah, sorry. We might have to remove more than 2 screws. I think. I haven't done this iPad screen repair for quite some time, especially the mini 4th generation. Alright, I apologize. You need to remove 4 screws. Once you have removed 4 screws, now you can pop open the LCD screen and the digitizer. Okay, there you go. And I'm going to slightly slide the screen off, just like that. Okay, now you want to come back here and remove this double-sided adhesive tape. The Apple uses very sticky double-sided adhesive tape, so we're not going to reuse them. We're going to apply with the new adhesive tape later on, but we need to have a clean surface so that the tape can sit in properly. All right, once you have done with that, let's go ahead and we try to remove the home button here. Now, the first thing you need to do is to flip open the clipper. There's a little side clipper on the left side of it. Once you flip it up, and let's try to go underneath that flex cable and slide it to your left. That's how you disconnect that, and slightly work your way around it. What we're trying to do is trying to separate the flex cable. Is actually double-sided tape onto it. So let's go ahead and work your way gently. Do not break the cable. Do not cut the cable. Do not damage the cable, because if you by accident you did it, then that's not a big deal, because you can always install a third-party home button screen. But it's just that you lose the capability for Touch ID, so your Touch ID wouldn't work after that. But if you're able to save the home button, then you will still have a Touch ID on the iPad. Okay, so just be very careful when you try to separate the double-sided tape here. All right, so there I have it. Now the cable is still attached to the home button. The point is to remove the bracket. So this bracket here, if you take a look at the home button, so we separated the flex cable away from the connector, but make sure you open up the connector clipper here first. Once you open it up, then you can slide the flex cable to your left to disconnect from the connector. And on the bottom right here, you can see there are still double-sided tape onto it. You just have to be very careful by separating them apart. Now the next thing here, if you take a closer look, you see this little white glue, some kind of adhesive glue that the Apple put on, right? It's like a white dry glue. We need to remove that and then apply with the new super glue to hold down the bracket. So what you can do is you can just come and reheat the screen, hopefully melt the glue a slight little bit so that you can easily get underneath that bracket. and separate them. Okay, so I'm getting it right here. So I get the bracket being separated. And the same time, I want to get underneath that home button and separate from the original screen. Do not rush yourself, work your way around it gently. And I just kind of rushed myself earlier. Now I feel like the home button is coming out. In not quite a perfect stuff. So make sure I have the, okay. All right, here you go. Coming back here and clean out the residue. Okay, so if you can see that this little shiny stuff, it go underneath on that side of the cable, right? So it go underneath here. Just so you know, the home button should look something like this way. Okay, the bracket should, the opening part face down, the flat here facing upwards. Okay, so the old screen, we can put it on the side. Here comes the new screen. You see I kind of rush it out a little bit. You can see that this black rubber is supposed to be above the silver part right there, but I hope that it will still stay. Just leave it like this for now. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to transfer the home button to the new screen. Let me make a little tiny hole here. Because I need to be able to feel from the other side. Okay, so make sure the clipper is open. Now I'm going to slide the cable to my left, slide it in. And then close the clipper to lock it. And we just have to realign that the home button is sitting flush and flat on that surface in the front. Make sure you're holding on that. Try it out and then hide the cable, tuck the cable back in. And remember this bracket, we need to be installing it. So what we want to do is you want to lift this one up slightly a little bit, because that cable will be sitting on top of the bracket. Okay, so slide it in. It's right about that much. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply some of the glue on the other side of the bracket here. Okay, just a little bit, not a lot. Once you press it down, it will squeeze out. So you do not want to let that glue spray all over your iPad. So just enough you feel like it's going to hold, and that should do it. Okay, once you have that in the right place, let's go ahead and it's slightly too much here. Spread it out a little bit. Okay, lift it up, slide it in, and let it rest. Okay, so right now before the glue dries up, what I like to do is pick up my iPad and feel that click. So realign the bracket, make sure the bracket is all the way in the right position. And when you press the clicker, the clicker should work. And my clicker is not working. Okay, my clicker is working. You just have to readjust it. Make sure that that little dimple is, or that nipple is aligned with that clicker. So when you press it, you can hear that clicker is clicking. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but I can feel the click. All right, try again. Perfect. So I'm letting the glue to get dried up. Okay, so this is perfect. What I like to do is to get a little clipper, kind of clip on top of it so that it holds the bracket and letting it dry. Okay, so the next step I like to do is to work on the iPad itself. I'll be using 2mm, the thickness of the double-sided tape, and we'll be taping down the iPad. If you're interested to know where to buy the tools, the replacement screen, the tape, the glue, check out the description below. I'll link them in my description below. I got it from Amazon, and if you want to buy the screen from eBay, you can do that as well. But most of my tools and the tape, I got them through Amazon. Okay, during the tape, try not to cover up the sensor. So this is a sensor right here on the top left and the top right corner. Try not to cover that up. But other than that, you can just stick it in. Okay, Once you're done with all that, I think by now the home button clicker, the bracket is all dried up. Let me feel the clicker. It feels good. And it is clicking just perfect. All right, so what I like to do now is to remove the double-sided tape here. At the same time, you want to remove the one that pre-adhesive install on the iPad screen. Now, I do not like to use this one here because the double-sided tape on the pre-install adhesive, they are not sticky. All right, they do not stick that well. At over time, the thing would just, the whole screen would just come off. So I like to use that third party, the one that I just showed you, the red adhesive tape. This red adhesive tape is stick a lot much better. Okay, let's go ahead and reconnect the cable. So they're kind of like a Lego. Make sure you align and adjust them in the right position. Once you have them in the right position, you can just press it and it would go install without any problem. You don't have to use a lot of force. Do not force it in. If you're forcing it in, that means you're not getting it correct. Okay, that should be very gently when you do the installation on that connector. Okay, now we're going to put is the 4 screws back in. Okay, 2 more screws to go. Okay, once you have that all installed, what I like to do is I like to align coming from the top. But before I do that, I need to make sure cable is not sticking. Okay, so let's align from the very top here. Top left and the top right. Make sure they're all aligned in the right position. I just press and turn on the iPad. Now what you want to do is get your prying tool. Make sure you stick that cable back in. So the cable sometimes is too long and it's exposed on top of the iPad. What I like to do is I like to push it and stick it back in, and that's it. All right, so try not to press too hard on the side here, because that way you are pressing the screen. Test all the buttons. Press the home button, make sure it works. All right, so everything seems to be working, and I hope that this video is helpful. If you find the video is helpful, please give me a like. Do not forget to smash that like and subscribe. Okay, if you have any question, comment below. Hopefully that this video helps you, show you step by step on how to get the iPad screen repair. All right, thanks for watching. Until next time, bye now.